In a move that has left MAGA supporters and the Republican Party reeling, President Joe Biden and his administration have embarked on a bold initiative that undermines one of Donald Trump's most iconic projects, the border wall. Why, you ask? What could drive such a seemingly symbolic, yet deeply strategic, maneuver? The answer lies in a combination of dismantling what Biden sees as wasteful spending, leveraging public resources more efficiently, and reshaping America's immigration policies for a more humane future. Biden's decision to auction off parts of Trump's border wall, sections of steel and other materials, has become a masterstroke in his administration's effort to defund the legacy of his predecessor while reinvesting in alternative solutions to border control. This audacious action has MAGA pundits and far-right commentators in an uproar, with some claiming it's a deliberate affront to Trump's policies. But as we dive deeper, we'll uncover the multi-layered strategy and political brilliance behind Biden's actions. President Joe Biden has pulled off another move that is sure to drive the MAGA crowd into a frenzy. As his administration winds down, Biden has found a way to both address surplus materials left over from Trump's border wall project and make it more difficult for Trump to undo the progress made over the last 4 years. The Biden administration is auctioning off unused border wall materials with a starting bid of just $5. That's right, the very steel and concrete intended for Trump's big, beautiful wall is being sold off to the highest bidder. If you want a piece of that wall, you can head over to govplanet.com and place your bid. This auction isn't just a practical decision, it's a symbolic one. By selling off these materials, the administration is taking away Trump's ability to easily revive his border wall project should he return to power. And it's not just a few stray beams here and there. Entire sections of the wall, spanning miles along the Arizona border, are being dismantled and put up for sale. For Trump, who has made the border wall a cornerstone of his political identity, this move is a slap in the face. And for Democrats, it's a moment to celebrate Biden's strategic dismantling of a divisive policy. While this auction is causing uproar among Trump supporters, it's also worth noting the irony here. Trump's "build the wall" mantra was not just a policy goal but a rallying cry for his base. Yet, the project's execution was rife with issues, including allegations of corruption. Steve Bannon, one of Trump's key allies, is heading to trial in February for his involvement in a fraudulent fundraising effort tied to the wall. Now, the materials from that same wall are being sold off in what feels like a final repudiation of the entire fiasco. This move also reflects Biden's broader approach to governance in his final months in office. Far from coasting, the administration is working to secure its accomplishments and prevent Trump's potential return from undoing years of progress. One example is Biden's decision to veto the Judges Act, which would have allowed Trump to appoint 65 more federal judges. Republicans failed to pass this legislation while Biden was in office, and now he's blocking their last-minute efforts to set the stage for a judiciary overhaul under a future Trump administration. It's a bold move, and one that highlights Biden's understanding of legislative strategy. The auctioning of the border wall materials serves as both a practical and symbolic act. On the practical side, the administration is clearing out surplus materials that have no current use. On the symbolic side, it's a declaration that there are better, more effective ways to address immigration and border security. Instead of pouring billions into a physical wall, Biden has focused on technology, collaboration with neighboring countries, and addressing the root causes of migration. For instance, border crossings have dropped 40% over the last year, thanks to Biden's partnerships with Mexico and other countries. Republicans, of course, are fuming. For Trump, the border wall was supposed to be his legacy. Now, it's being dismantled and sold off in what feels like a going-out-of-business sale. It's hard not to imagine the glee on Biden's face when he signed off on this auction. The move undercuts Trump's narrative and makes it clear that Biden is not passively running out the clock. Instead, he's using every moment to solidify his achievements and protect them from future Republican efforts to roll them back. Meanwhile, Biden's administration is not just focused on the border wall. Across the board, federal agencies are working overtime to finalize enforcement actions and other initiatives before the end of Biden's term. Agencies like the SEC, FTC, and CFTC are filing enforcement actions against bad actors in various industries, ensuring that their work continues to have an impact even after the administration's departure. This proactive approach reflects a commitment to governance that prioritizes action and accountability. As we look ahead to a possible Trump administration, it's clear that Democrats need to be ready for a fight. The Biden administration's actions, from auctioning off the border wall to vetoing the Judges Act, offer a blueprint for how Democrats can effectively resist Trump's agenda. In Congress, Democrats must be prepared to act as a vigorous opposition party, using every tool at their disposal to block harmful policies and highlight Republican failures. With a slim Republican majority in the House and a slightly larger margin in the Senate, there are opportunities to stall legislation and force compromises. This strategy will require strong leadership and a focus on younger, more dynamic voices within the Democratic Party. Figures like Hakeem Jeffries, AOC, and Jamie Raskin must take center stage, bringing energy and determination to the fight. At the same time, seasoned leaders like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer can offer guidance and support, ensuring that the party remains unified and effective. Beyond Congress, state attorneys general will play a crucial role in resisting Trump's agenda. These officials have already been preparing for years, drafting lawsuits and legal strategies to challenge executive orders and other overreaches. With support from organizations like the ACLU, they can tie up Trump's efforts in court, leveraging the judiciary to protect democratic values and uphold the rule of law. Ultimately, the goal is to make Trump's potential second term as ineffective as possible. By forcing him to rely on executive orders and challenging those orders in court, Democrats can limit the damage and preserve key achievements from the Biden administration. This will require vigilance, creativity, and an unrelenting commitment to democratic principles. The Biden administration's actions in its final months serve as a reminder that governance doesn't stop just because an election has been lost. From selling off the border wall to launching enforcement actions, Biden and his team are working to secure their legacy and set the stage for a strong democratic resistance. It's a powerful example of how to lead with purpose and conviction, even in the face of adversity. For now, we can celebrate the auctioning of Trump's border wall as a symbolic victory for democracy and a reminder that better solutions are always possible. And as we prepare for the challenges ahead, let's take inspiration from Biden's determination and resolve to keep fighting for a better future. In a strategic move that has both political and practical implications, the Biden administration has begun dismantling parts of the controversial border wall project initiated under Donald Trump. Even more intriguing, these sections of the wall are being auctioned off to the public at a minimum bid of just $5. The auction, which includes large sections of the Arizona border wall, represents a sharp contrast to Trump's original vision and has left his supporters fuming. Let's dive into what this decision means and how it's part of a broader strategy to both neutralize Trump's policies and solidify the Biden administration's legacy. Biden's border wall strategy, undermining Trump's plans. The Biden administration's decision to sell off remnants of the border wall is not just about clearing physical assets. It's a calculated political statement. By auctioning these materials, Biden is making it harder for Trump to resurrect the border wall if he regains office. Trump's initial construction, which cost taxpayers billions, has been a cornerstone of his presidency and a rallying cry for his base. But with Biden repurposing these materials, the path to rebuilding becomes logistically and financially cumbersome for any future administration. For instance, Trump will have to secure new funding, likely in the billions, from a potentially divided Congress to restart construction. Additionally, selling the wall sections creates an ironic twist. The very materials that were meant to secure borders are now available to the public, symbolizing a rejection of Trump's hardline immigration policies. Immigration policy successes under Biden. While Trump emphasized physical barriers, Biden's administration has focused on more modern and collaborative approaches to immigration enforcement. Through partnerships with Mexico and other Central American countries, border crossings have reportedly decreased by 40% over the past year. This success comes from addressing root causes of migration, investing in technology such as drones and surveillance systems, and increasing Border Patrol personnel rather than relying on symbolic walls. Biden's team has also worked to lower the incentives for illegal border crossings by implementing policies that promote legal immigration pathways and stabilize conditions in migrants' home countries. These efforts, though underreported during Biden's campaign, are now being highlighted as part of his administration's broader achievements. Trump's challenges in a potential second term. If Trump regains office, he'll face significant hurdles in reviving his border wall initiative. For one, the public auction of wall materials will force him to start from scratch, both in terms of resources and political capital. Additionally, Trump's track record of mismanaging major projects, such as his failed Build the Wall crowdfunding scheme, which led to the indictment of Steve Bannon, casts doubt on his ability to deliver on this promise a second time. Moreover, Congress is unlikely to fully back another $15 billion border wall project, especially given the narrow margins Republicans hold in the House and Senate. Even within the GOP, there's growing skepticism about the effectiveness of the wall compared to other border enforcement strategies. Legislative battles, judges, policies, and the role of Congress. In another strategic move, Biden recently vetoed a Republican-backed bill that would have allowed Trump to appoint 65 additional federal judges. This decision underscores Biden's intent to protect his legislative and judicial legacy from future Republican interference. By blocking this bill, Biden ensures that judicial appointments remain balanced, making it harder for Trump to use the courts to advance controversial policies. The Democrats' strategy moving forward involves leveraging their position in Congress to obstruct Trump's most extreme policies. Despite the slim Republican majority in the House, the GOP's internal divisions make it difficult for them to pass significant legislation without Democratic support. This dynamic presents an opportunity for Democrats to act as a robust opposition force, grinding Trump's agenda to a halt. Preparing for opposition. The role of younger Democratic leaders. Democratic leadership is preparing for an era of opposition with a focus on younger, more dynamic leaders. Figures like Hakeem Jeffries, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, and Jamie Raskin are being positioned as the next wave of leadership, ready to take on Trump's policies with vigor. This new generation of leaders represents a shift from the old guard, bringing fresh energy and a willingness to fight aggressively for democratic values. In the Senate, leaders like Tammy Duckworth are stepping up, signaling a readiness to lead the opposition. While seasoned figures like Chuck Schumer and Dick Durbin remain influential, there's a growing push to pass the torch to younger senators who can better connect with the next generation of voters. The role of state attorneys general and the courts. State attorneys general, including New York's Letitia James and California's Rob Bonta, are preparing to challenge Trump's potential executive overreach. These legal challenges are expected to play a crucial role in limiting Trump's ability to implement sweeping changes through executive orders. By filing lawsuits and securing injunctions, these officials can tie up Trump's policies in court, ensuring they face rigorous legal scrutiny. Additionally, public interest groups like the ACLU are poised to join these legal battles, reinforcing the checks and balances necessary to prevent abuse of power. Friendly federal judges and appellate courts, many appointed during Democratic administrations, will likely serve as key allies in these efforts. Biden administration's final push: enforcement actions and legacy. In the remaining months of his presidency, Biden's administration is accelerating its efforts to solidify its legacy. Federal agencies like the SEC, FTC, and DOJ are ramping up enforcement actions against corporate malfeasance, ensuring these cases are filed before the administration transitions out of power. These actions reflect a commitment to holding corporations accountable and protecting consumer rights. Simultaneously, the administration is finding creative ways to undermine Trump's potential return to power. Selling off the border wall materials is just one example of how Biden is working to dismantle Trump-era policies while creating roadblocks for their re-implementation. The broader implications: a pro-democracy strategy. The auctioning of the border wall serves as a metaphor for the Biden administration's broader strategy, dismantling the infrastructure of Trumpism while laying the groundwork for a more inclusive and effective government. By focusing on pragmatic solutions and blocking regressive policies, Biden is setting a precedent for how Democrats can govern effectively even in the face of opposition. This strategy also underscores the importance of engaging younger leaders and building a strong opposition movement to counteract the authoritarian tendencies of Trump's base. Through a combination of legislative obstruction, legal challenges, and public advocacy, Democrats are preparing to make Trump's potential second term as ineffective as possible. Call to action. As we navigate this critical moment in American politics, it's essential to remain engaged and informed. The Biden administration's actions, from auctioning the border wall to vetoing judicial bills, highlight the importance of strategic governance. By supporting pro-democracy initiatives and amplifying the voices of progressive leaders, we can ensure that the values of equity, justice, and accountability continue to guide our nation's future. President Joe Biden's decision to auction off sections of Donald Trump's border wall is far more than a fiscal maneuver. It's a political masterstroke and a bold statement about the direction of American governance. By dismantling Trump's big, beautiful wall, Biden is redefining what border security and immigration reform should look like in the 21st century. The MAGA outrage and Republican backlash are proof of how deeply this move has struck at the heart of Trump's legacy. As the auctions continue and Biden's administration forges ahead with its agenda, one thing is clear. This is a president who, even in a so-called lame duck phase, refuses to back down. With bold actions like these, Biden is not just dismantling walls. He's building bridges to a more progressive and equitable future for America. And for those who stand with him, this is a victory worth celebrating.